Hello everyone, welcome to Pete's CD Vinyl World. Today I wanted to do a review of an album I got for Christmas, and actually from 2016. It's the Beatles reissue of Live at the Hollywood Bowl, which also is now the soundtrack to the 8 Days a Week documentary produced by Ron Howard. So this album originally was released in 1977. Um, and it has that entire album along with 4 bonus tracks, which are You Can't Do That, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, and Babies in Black. So this is one of the Beatle albums, the original one, that was never released on CD or an official release. There's apparently was bootleg editions of it out there, and the album was taken from two different shows, one from 1964, one time from 1965. And let's see. Yeah, just those two shows. So the bonus tracks were from those shows. The original cover is just like a plain white thing where it says like Beatles Live at the Hollywood Bowl. Nothing. I've never heard the original. Always wanted to get it. So I actually hadn't heard of even the reissue. I had heard of the documentary, but I didn't know that Live at the Hollywood Bowl was actually the soundtrack to it. So that was on my Christmas list and finally got it. So first thoughts was that in the liner notes, they talk about how Giles Martin went through the original 3-track master tape, cleaned them up so you can hear the vocals better, and all that. So my first impression was, wow, I wonder how the original sounds, because this doesn't really sound that great. I would say this is on the level of like a really good bootleg. And I know that at this time, the Beatles, or actually anybody who played live at that time, had no monitors. There was really no sound systems. Basically, there was they had their amplifiers, and they had their vocal mics that went directly into the house PA, and probably a microphone on the drums maybe, and that was basically it. But if you've seen that anthology documentary produced in the 90s, you can see there is a lot of quality recordings, and the audio is great on those. So I was curious to why in 1977 they didn't use recordings from one of those concerts. For example, one of them I remember vividly was a Washington D.C. concert where the audio was great, and I think even like the Shea Stadium shows, the audio was pretty good as well. So kind of curious why they decided in 77 to release Live at the Hollywood Bowl when the recordings weren't that great to begin with. That being said, it's still enjoyable for what it is. Obviously, it's the Beatles, and given all those circumstances of having no monitors, not being able to hear anything, if you've ever played in a band, um, even though you're at volume, very loud volume, most of the time you cannot hear really anything other than maybe the drums. So they sang and played really well. The Beatles don't get enough credit, I think, as being a great live band, because they had all that experience of playing with the Cavern Club and all those years. This time, Beatles were playing like 35, 40-minute sets, which is funny because even though they were playing these short sets, their set lists actually varied a lot if you look at their history throughout the tour. So by the time they got to like 65, 66, they already had stopped playing their earlier big hits like I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You and Saw Her Standing There. So, but they always seemed to play like a lot of the covers they did, like Dizzy Miss Lizzie. They seem to always play. They always played Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, which I guess is they're trying to give George Harrison a chance to sing, which I have to say on this recording at least, or recordings, because it's taken from 2 shows, his vocals seem to be the best from out of the other singers, Paul and George, and Paul and John. but they hold it together great live. Like I said, it's definitely worth getting if you're a Beatles fan. The bonus tracks are pretty good. What I don't understand is if they went through all this trouble of why not just release a double album and have each show on one album, because like I said, their sets at the time were like 35-40 minutes, so each show could fit on one album. I'm kind of curious why they did that, because I doubt even from 64 to 65 that their set list was pretty similar. Like I said, they were constantly changing. And John Lennon has some in-between banter, and he's actually, if you've seen, like I said, the anthology where they show them on stage a lot, he's pretty funny on stage, actually. Pretty good performer. And some of the stuff he says. As far as the album itself, it has a gatefold with information about the album. And this is the inner sleeve of the album, just a couple of pictures. Which it's a gripe with me, but I don't understand how nowadays you're paying $25-$30 for an album. They can't even include a polyline sleeve. I mean, this sleeve is a hard cardboard, so I guess it's better than a paper sleeve. But still, I mean, for $25, put a poly sleeve in an album. The album itself is, I'm guessing, at least 180 gram. Maybe even 200. It feels really heavy. But like I said, the recording is what it is. What it is. It's a historical recording. So, other than that, it's a Beatles necessity if you're a fan, I would guess. Other than that, besides the BBC recordings, the Beatles and the rooftop concert, they really haven't released a lot of their shows, which they should, because they were a good live band. So, like I said, if you're a Beatles fan, please pick this up, and I think you'll be pretty happy with it. I did see parts of this when they ran it on PBS. But actually, I think the anthology that came out in the 90s was a better, even documentary that covered their touring. So that's also great. It's out on Blu-ray now, that anthology series from the 90s. So if you like these videos, please subscribe. I probably will do in the next couple days that new vinyl tag that came out for 2021 with the 20 questions. So be on the lookout for that. I'll talk to you guys later.